Welcome, guys. This is another podcast and YouTube video about the amazing game at Everton over the weekend. If you haven't seen the game, as I always say in these things, if you haven't seen the game and you want to listen to it, or you want to watch it first, then obviously do so and then come back and listen to my take on the game, shall we say. There obviously were highlights, one particular highlight involving Conor Gallagher, but I'll go back into that in a little while. First of all, the lineup, we had Gaeta in goal. Back four was Ward, Tompkins, Gehi and Mitchell. Ward came back into this game after his ban, his one-match ban, and Clyde filled in, who actually didn't do bad at all. I thought he did quite well. Midfield, Gallagher, Hughes and Kayute. First start for Will Hughes since he joined the club, and so there was big things expected from him. Everyone was looking with anticipation as to how he was going to play and whether he really was this, as a lot of people are saying, a replacement or another version of Jimmy Mack. Up front we had Ayew, Edouard and Zaha, so a good forward line, and we were up against Everton, who obviously they got Andy Townsend in their team now, and he's actually been playing quite well for Everton. So it was one of those things where, was he going to give us any problems having come back to Selhurst Park after his move? Right, so we're going to go into the game itself very quickly. And there was, from the beginning, I thought it was a very good start for Palace. We came out as we have been doing previously. The last three games, we haven't quite come out the blocks with all guns blazing, but this half we did. The first half we came out, we were creating chances, we were working really hard. Everton, I thought, were a little bit lackluster, a little bit sitting back on the ball and and sort of trying to absorb pressure, which was good for us because it meant that we could go forward in numbers and cause them problems. And it was a bit of to and froing, but there was a lot of pressure from us on the Everton back line. And to their credit, with a mixture of the defence and Jordan Pickford, they managed to keep the goal clear. But it was a lot of to and froing early on, and I thought it was quite a good first half. And one of the things that struck me in the first half was how well Will Hughes did. I thought he did incredibly well. He looked like he was very comfortable in the midfield there. He was passing the ball about really well. He wasn't going over ambitious stuff. He was keeping it simple, and he was getting forward. He was breaking up play in the middle. He was doing pretty much the same stuff that Jimmy Mack did. And one of the things that I noticed as much as anything else is that he was allowing, as Jimmy Mack does when he plays, he was allowing Gallagher to go forward and do the role that he has been doing before Jimmy Mack got injured. He's been given the freedom to push forward and to play more areas of the pitch and to bring other players in and put those little passes in that we all love him doing. And also allows him to get the goal, which he did on 41 minutes. So it was near the end of the first half, and it was a great little goal. It wasn't as spectacular as the one that's coming on later on, but it was a good little goal. But that wasn't the only possible goal. Ayew had an amazing opportunity. He was in on goal. All he had to do was beat the keeper. But he kind of scuffed it, and Pickford was able to pick it up. I was so disappointed for him because he worked his socks off in this game, as he has been for the last few games. Absolutely worked his socks off. And I think that he really showed how important he is to the team. Yes, he isn't scoring goals. I know a lot of people have an issue with that. But he was doing other things as well. He was creating things. He was beating players, putting crosses in. He took this shot himself as well. And I think if he'd been scoring goals and had been a bit more confident, I think he would have tucked that away, no trouble at all. But he didn't get the goal, which really, really sad. I would love him to have got a goal in this game. But it was a great chance, and I say on the ending near the first half, with Gallagher getting his goal, meant that we were going in 1-0 up, and I thought that we really were in control of the game at that point. Second half, there were no changes, and it was a little bit different from the first half. Everton, I think, Ranieri had obviously come in, not Ranieri, I'm not talking about, Rafael Benitez, I should say, I'm trying to think of his name here. He came out, he'd obviously said something at half time because the guys came out with a lot more focus and a lot more determination. And he you could see that Everton were working a bit harder at trying to close the ball down, at trying to push forward. And there was a period at the beginning of the first half when they were kind of pegging us back a little bit, and we were having to absorb a bit of pressure, but we were doing it. And one of the things that impressed me over the previous games that I've seen lately is we were getting to the ball first a lot more often than we had been in the past. From set pieces and from free kicks, stuff like that. And also when the ball was just played into the box, we weren't getting to the ball first. We weren't getting the first header, but we were doing that more and more in this game, and which I was really pleased about, and the fact that they are trying to deal with that situation that we were having with our set pieces, that we were always conceding, or very nearly always conceding. So they seem to have been pushing and tidying that up, which is great to see. And obviously having Joel Ward back and things like this. Joel Ward made a couple of mistakes in the first half in particular, but I think that overall the team were much more solid and a lot more like they were when Jimmy Mack was playing. It seemed to be that same kind of team, and I think most of it is because Will Hughes in the middle was helping other players to be more expressive and to do things that they would otherwise be having to sit back and defend and track back and stuff like that and close down, that kind of thing. And so the second half was a bit more in their favour, but we did start to try and create a few more chances as things went on. There was a little bit of a little bit of an upset. Gallagher, not Gallagher. Zaha was getting a bit frustrated in this game, and I think he was having one of those games where he was letting things frustrate him a lot more than otherwise he would have. He was showing that little trick here and there and trying to get people in and trying to score obviously himself, but for me, he looked like he was having a frustrating day, and this is one of those things where if his head gets down, sometimes he can just drop out of the game. And although he was in the game, it didn't seem like the Zaha that we've known from a previous few games ago, which was a shame because I think if Zaha had been on all cylinders as well, I think it could have been a lot more than 3-1 to be fair. But then right at the end, again, normally we've had this bit of a trait lately of conceding late on, especially in injury time and at the end of the game. But this time it was worked the other way around. We got to 90 plus 3 minutes. I think it was 5 minutes in total. 90 plus 3 minutes, and it looked to me as though Everton were trying to take a quick free kick, but it didn't work out as well as they had hoped. And he played it into just in front of the 18-yard box, and I think AU managed to get the ball off of the Everton player. Gallagher got onto the ball and crossed it and put in a beautiful peach of a kind of shot. It was arcing and curling and hit the top corner of the net, and there was nothing Pickford could do about it. It was really in one of those top corner areas, and it was just a fantastic goal. It really was a great goal, and it's one of those things where this is what he brings to the team, and this is what he can bring to any team, including Chelsea. And I'm going to be doing a YouTube video about Conor Gallagher and about the reasons why I think he should stay and the reasons why he may not stay. I'm going to be doing a YouTube video on that, so if you follow me on my YouTube channel, keep an eye out for that as well. There were a couple of other goals towards the end of the second half. Solomon Rondon, who came on to much jeering, actually, to be fair. He was the first time, well, one of the first times I've seen a team booing their manager for making a change. But he took off Rick Alton, who had a good game, I think, the game before. He played well and scored a couple of goals. But he took him off and he put Rondon on. And but to his credit, Rondon scored at 70 minutes. He hit a good goal. Well, it was more of a toe poke as anything else. And I think it was one of those things where he was trying to he managed to get to the ball before Gahey, and it went to the back of the net. That was on 17 minutes. And also we have to talk about James Tompkins. He also got a goal on 62 minutes, and that was another kind of a toe poke into the corner of the net. But they all count. They all count towards our points and things like this. And it was great to see Tompkins back on the score sheet again. He had a good game, a game against Everton. He had a good game. But obviously, everyone's talking about Conor Gallagher and that goal and his impact on the game. But overall, I think it was a good team performance. I think we played very well. We also looked solid at the back at times. We weren't as fragmented as we had been at times. We looked a bit more solid. As I said, we were getting to balls first. Overall, a very good A very good game indeed. I want to hear your thoughts, though. What do you think about the game? Do you think there was anything we could have improved upon? Do you think there was anyone on the team that didn't play well? Or what do you think about Conor Gallagher after this performance? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a comment. If you're listening to this as a podcast, then you can comment on the Anchor app if you're listening to it on Anchor app, or you can get hold of me on Twitter, Palace to the Core. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, bye bye.